Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Three Kobolds Gaming, where we play Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and tonight we continue our Heroes of Absalom campaign. And I have one important question for you all.
What is it?
Have any of you picked up the new Pokemon games?
I've picked up all the memes about these Pokemon games.
Yeah.
The last Pokemon games were Diamond and Pearl for me.
You didn't play Black and White. You're robbing yourself, actually.
You're a little behind there, my friend.
Those games are.
Call the cops, because I gotta get arrested.
Diamond
I've
Pearl
got
was
Dan
actually-
beat. My last Pokemon game I think was Fire Red.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I have never owned a Pokemon game. I wasn't really allowed to play video games when I grew up, so.
Yeah,
Rip.
Pokemon is Satan worship. That's just a fact.
Scarlet and Violet have been quite the talk of the town recently, for anyone who's not caught up. See, I've been playing since Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah.
Back in the day on my little Game Boy Advance. At least the last ones that I can actually remember playing, I'm sure, because I believe my dad had a copy of Red, maybe. I don't know. But all the Pokemon players are like, the Pokemon are great, you know, in terms of a competitive standpoint, but
the
the
game just
graphics
sucks
don't work.
so bad.
Graphics are bad.
It's a really fun, from what I've heard, it's a really fun Pokemon game. It's a really terribly made game. Like, it's just an awful piece of garbage that, like, doesn't really work.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean that's like not surprising though, right?
Yeah, like,
And they
I don't
give
know,
you Pokemon mounts that are just Pokemon, which are motorcycles.
I saw that.
That's kind of cool.
they have big wheels.
Okay.
It's open world, right? Like, that's the
Yeah.
whole gimmick.
Yeah.
And they did
Oh.
the open world thing with Legends Arceus, which I thought was fine. I didn't really get into it, and Legends Arceus also looked like garbage, and they just blamed the Switch, and then everyone's just looking at Breath of the Wild existing and wondering what that argument even was supposed to mean.
Yeah.
So
You know what
I
we
don't
need to
know.
bring back? Pokemon Coliseum.
we do.
That was a real Pokemon game.
We already brought back Pokemon Snap. We already satisfied those fanboys.
I played a lot of Pokemon Snap on my after hours care in elementary school. We
Dude,
had-
wait, do you want to hear a sentence?
Yeah.
That's a throwback. I played a lot of Pokemon Snap at the Blockbuster Video. that
Oh
was
my
down the street from where
god.
I grew up. They had one of those like in store
Yeah, console, yeah.
Yeah.
like try out games on.
Yeah, I fell in love with Guitar Hero 3 at my local GameStop. That's also a sentence.
All right. Before we jump back into it, for those of you who have played, favorite Pokemon.
well,
Like-
I can still have a favorite Pokemon even though I haven't played.
It's true.
Wait, like favorite
Everybody,
Pokemon ever?
favorite Pokemon. Yeah, favorite
Oh,
Pokemon.
it's
Ever?
Blaziken.
Blaziken. That's a good
Blaziken.
one.
You know, it's same generation. Swampert.
Yeah, Swampert's good. If anyone picks a grass starter, I don't want to talk to you. I don't trust grass starter player.
What is that? That's Gen 3, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ruby and Sapphire.
Wait, what-
Ditto's a great option. I like Ditto.
Ditto's
Wait,
the
what'd you
best,
say?
'cause They can
Ditto's
be
a
anything, but not quite.
But not quite.
Anything with a stupid little face on it.
So here's the thing.
For-
I'm gonna be
for
that guy.
alligator,
Whenever I
think,
cosplay,
for me.
so.
For alligators, a
For
great.
alligators are great.
Yeah.
All of us picked starter Pokemon. That's interesting.
I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna finish the Gen 3 starters off with Sceptile, dude. I loved
Yeah.
Sceptile
Reptile.
with the
Starter people are sus, but Sceptile's pretty cool.
with the little branch that he had in his mouth, and he was just
Yeah.
like a ninja for no reason before they had actual ninja Pokemon.
No, he's a gangster for sure.
Yeah.
The grass blades. Those are pretty cool.
And
What was
we're gonna
Greninja? Is Greninja like? Was he Gen 5?
4, 5?
Was he black and white? I
He was black and
specifically
white.
replayed or played like a different save.
The penguin was Gen 4.
Yeah, I played a different game of that generation to play as Greninja. I thought Greninja was like the coolest thing. He's super cool.
My second favorite is Ninetales, and my third favorite is Ponyta.
You have a good collection of favorite Pokemon,
Wait, I
mostly
missed-
because two of them are fire type.
I missed your first favorite. Which was it?
Ditto.
Ditto.
Because they can be anybody, but not quite, like how I cosplay.
We're not gonna talk about the
I know there's an
unfortunate
actual
Ditto
one.
farms that used to happen back in the day.
Yeah, Ditto's a freaky little bitch.
Oh. Well, I do have 6 siblings.
when you
so-
breed a Pokemon, like only some of them work, and you have to like play around with like the typings and like the stats.
I
and
never
the
thought
balancing
about
them.
how messed up that actually kind of is.
Yeah, no, it's there's a whole.
I
ethic
never
secret
thought
into-
about that.
You
when
just-
you breed anything with Ditto, you just get the Pokemon you put in, and it's got like the best stats. So Ditto is the breeding Pokemon.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You just put them in the daycare.
Yeah,
and
you
then they
drop
just,
your kids off at daycare and they have more
just fool
kids.
around. Yeah,
I think that's just the Matrix.
yeah. There's a lot of ethics we should not discuss about Pokemon
And weird
never
concepts
thought
that
of
they
it.
decided to introduce to literal children. But hey, you know,
They honestly did it in a pretty PC way. You just like run around with this egg in your bag until it hatches, and no one really thinks about why like very obvious mammal Pokemon lay eggs and how that really works.
They're all platypi.
They all every Pokemon is essentially a platypus because every single one of them lays eggs. All of them.
just wait till you go down the rabbit hole of Pokemon theories that humans are also Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
No.
it's all messed up. Like and
Do we have enough time to
No.
go over?
We don't.
there's the classic like all Pokemon takes place after a nuclear disaster. Like
That's one of my favorites. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
there's how do people like what do people eat? Are people eating Pokemon? Is
Yeah.
eating Pokemon like an acceptable thing to do? Which Pokemon do you eat?
Cora, obviously.
Do they follow the same conventions where it's like the cow Pokemon and the chicken Pokemon are obviously
Yeah.
fair game, and the horse
Yep.
Pokemon are like kind of not great?
I exclusively eat Voltorbs.
Exactly.
Yo.
You
All
just
right,
put 'em
let's
in-
get Surge.
Put them in your mouth like a.
But
like
see,
a
then they
jawbreaker.
went and made actual like
Basically a sausage. Like,
yeah,
let's go.
they then went and made actual like ice cream sundae Pokemon. You're like, how do you
Oh,
not?
Yeah.
That's muck.
Well, and then Trubbish and Garbodor enter
Yeah.
into a whole new weird realm of like ethics, where it's like, what are these made of? What trash is this? Is there like
Yeah.
other Pokemon's remains? Like, is there like raw Pidgey in that trash? Like, what's going on with
You know it, bruh.
with this garbage Pokemon?
Fried Pidgey. Oh my god.
Yeah, like
Yeah, barring any ethical dilemmas that we've stumbled across in Pokemon, good series. Good series. Hot take, I know.
Dilemmas. This just sounds like my next book.
if you haven't gotten into Pokemon, I'm gonna say that you may be too late. It may be too far
It's yeah.
gone. But if you're into it, stay into it. It's fun.
Speaking of another fantasy world where ethics get morally gray, we jump back to Absalom, back to the Lucky Nimbus Casino,
Where Pasco has a new girlfriend who just left.
yes, you all have
She
been
warped.
in the middle of a heist. You've been tracking down leads on a device left by one of the members of the Twilight Four, a shadowy cabal of Norgorbites who seem to be making moves in the shadows of the city to some devious end. You found out that a clockwork alchemical device had been stored in the vault of the Lucky Nimbus Casino, but due to an altercation, the owner of said lockbox in the vault is no longer allowed on the premises, which means that the item is inaccessible, which means you need to steal it. So, on the night of a gala, this big charity fundraiser event to raise money for the victims of the previous Fiend Flesh siege, you all enter under false names, and I guess Oski just straight up got a job. I mean, that's not really like false names, but you all enter the Lucky Nimbus Casino to commit a heist.
Murder.
After getting in and making some bids to stay inconspicuous on the silent auction, the Gossamer auction, the gala is attacked. Specifically, Gage Carlisle, excuse me, is attacked by some Svarfeltar, elf-like denizens of the Shadow Plane. You all manage to fend off the attack and earn from Gage a ticket to the VIP rooms, whereupon you all begin to case the area, and eventually, during a conversation with Gage, after some quick thinking by Kashak, who showed off Shitra's exceptional acrobatic talents, quote unquote,
Yep.
to
That was still dope.
knock Gage off of his balance, giving you all the chance to swipe his vault key. You all head to the vault, specifically Bastro and Twinkletoes head to the vault while Oski and Kashak make a distraction to let them down. In the vault, you find a Velstruck interlocutor. Quite the mouthful. A creature whose one purpose is to experiment on living beings to figure out a way to draw out the divine ecstasy of pain. Something that she noticed.
The Velstock what?
Interlocutor.
I was writing eloquocutor. That's funny.
She immediately finds kinship with Bastro, a fleshwarp himself, who had been through much great physical change and deformity, or reformity, really. And after some very, very good diplomacy checks from Bastro, she gifts you with 2 items. One being a leather vest, which appeared to be a very important artifact to her. I don't mean artifact in like the mechanical sense, but she created this. It was stolen, you find out, by a wizard named Skafkata. Or Skafka? Yeah, Skafka. So many like weird consonant names in this section. It was stolen by a wizard from the Shadow Plane. From her, the wizard stored it down here, and she came back to reclaim it. You find the dead body of the Djinn, who had been left to guard the vault. And she also gives you a ring. Neither of those 2 things you have identified yet, but you did a very good job between Twinkletoes and Bastro of avoiding conflict and turning her to, if not neutral, to your ally for all ostensible purposes.
We should add her to our list of.
If you can call her up.
Yeah.
Interplanar communication is actually a lot harder in 2nd edition than it was in 1st. I've been looking into it, and it's doable, but more difficult.
She blinks in and out. Maybe we can catch her on our time here.
Maybe. You then make your way back to the main floor. I'm skipping over a big part of the story. You find the lockbox you were sent to find, and you open it to find that it has been emptied. Nothing in there. However, Bastro and Twinkletoes, you pick up a residue of the alchemical agent used in the device. The residue, the smell that it gives off, gives you an almost visceral reaction. This scent-based memory that takes you back to the first day you were working together at Knight's Marvelous Menagerie, when the animals of the menagerie all went wild due to some alchemical agent that was placed in the water. It's the same substance.
Strange callback. So specific.
I know, right? I was like, what? It's all connected.
You follow the scent trail to the kind of office and records area, where you find a note that has this residue on it. The residue is, the note says, "I quit from FL." And after cross-referencing some employee lists, you find the name Franca Lorenz, who is shown as marked absent about 5 days ago and subsequently terminated. Franca Lorenz.
So did they not find her letter?
Well, they did, I guess. Either way, she was fired. Quit. No longer works there. It was marked as...
If she was fired, she should be getting severance. But if she would quit, then like...
Bold of you to assume that Absalom has severance pay.
At a criminal casino.
strictly legal casino, as
Uh-huh.
Gage would be remiss not to remind you. You then go back upstairs, where Kashak and Oski finish their quarrel.
A
And
chest puffing is what I'm gonna call it.
yes, and the auction results are about to be announced, marking kind of the last major event of the night before people start to disperse. As Gage gets up on stage to present, he pulls the envelope with the final totals and begins reading off, announcing the painting gifted by the Jade Empress Ameko Amaterasu. And just before announcing the winner, you hear this thwack as a crossbow bolt just thunk, hits him in the shoulder. You see the point of it sticking out of the suit
Whoa, heavy crossbow.
as his bleach white tuxedo just begins to spread swiftly with dark red. You all watch as a figure emerges, and I will take you to the map.
Did it hit his right shoulder? Like, did it go through his heart, maybe, or was it pretty like innocuous? Just
It
meat?
seems it did not go through his heart. It's like right shoulder, like right in the meat.
It's a good chance he's alive still and fine. Yeah.
Fine.
Let me take you to the map.